Hi all, this is Dr. Sage Breslin and this is Wisdom Wednesdays. And this is the third video in a series about my journey with cancer. It's been a rough week, I won't lie. So many thoughts I want to share, and none of them are probably all about business or anything like that. I was thinking about how we single moms manage business and children and, all life, right? Life, and how challenging that can be. I mean, it's just difficult to be an entrepreneur or an employee or a business owner and to have a family, even if the family is healthy and you have support and, or maybe a partner. I think it's challenging even at that. But to be a single mother of five and to be trying to constantly attend to, what the kids need. And while I feel fueled up by the work that I do, that's not always true at home. I was just realizing how when I'm at work, I'm able to really plug into source and I feel like I just am piping it through, right? I feel like I am totally powered and fueled by something greater than myself. And so I am able to really be there and be present for my clients and to allow that intuition to flow, to allow the words of wisdom to flow very easily. But I think in my personal life, what I notice is that we do a lot on the fly, right? Things change in a nanosecond. I thought everything was going fine. I take a kid to a baseball game. I come back and this kid's throwing up. And this kid's angry because, he doesn't have enough time for that thing. And that's kind of how it goes. And even with adult children, because two of my kids are grown and they're not in the house anymore, but they have needs too. Just because they don't live in the house doesn't mean they don't need. And, by doing things on the fly, I think I often don't take the time to ground in source. I don't take the time to connect to source and say, like, okay, God, fuel me up, power me up, Scotty. I think it gets forgotten a lot of the time. And so what I notice is when I'm working on the fly and I'm meeting all these extra needs, A, I'm not thinking about myself, and B, I'm worn out at the end of it all. Versus in business, when I'm able to work with my clients, I prepare, I plug in, I meditate, I hold space, and it feels like it's effortless. And at the end of the day, maybe I get tired, but I don't feel that same level of exhaustion from juggling all the balls. I think in a perfect world, yes, that would be challenging. But then when I add my cancer to it, it just some days feels like crazy. Like, is it even possible? Is it even possible to juggle all of that? And then when I consider, what's going to begin in my life in another 2 months, I find it mind-boggling. And I know that I am still sort of keeping the idea like just to the side because it is so overwhelming. I also wanted to share something that happened yesterday. I tried venting to a friend about it, and that helped a little bit, but I was so aware of why it was so triggering, and that's what I wanted to share. I took my son to the doctor because after 5 days he wasn't better, actually it was worse, and he's my kid that never gets sick. So I made an appointment, took him in, and my doctor, their regular doctor, wasn't available, so we saw this other doctor, who I can only just say was incredibly dismissive and just kind of said, you're fine. It's not any big deal. These things happen. You just basically need to buck up and shut up. And I'm sure he was probably kinder than that, but I didn't notice because what I heard him not saying was, there's nothing wrong with you. There's, he's fine. And I was so triggered. I couldn't get out of there with my kid fast enough. And when we got outside, my kid turned to me and he looked and he's like, geez, Mom, like that guy spun you out. Like, I know he wasn't very nice, but, and I just, yeah, I said, I can't talk about this. Like, let's just go. What I realized after a conversation with Monica Hershaft last evening was that this was my journey. People told me time after time, there's nothing wrong with you. I felt terrible. I have this incredibly early warning system, apparently. My body can say at step 1, this is what you have. This is your diagnosis. Here's all the symptoms of stage 3 cancer. Now you just have to get somebody to listen to you. So I really felt so triggered when, after several years of trying to hunt with doctors to trying to figure out what was wrong with me, I had to push and shove and scream and cry until finally I found the right doctor who diagnosed me and then said, holy camoli, this is what's wrong with you. How did they miss this? So today, with my kid crying in pain on the floor, we're going to go see our regular doctor, but I'm fully prepared to take this kid to the emergency room because nobody's listening. This isn't just some little bug. This is my kid who doesn't get sick, who's crying as a late teen because he's so sick. And whether or not it's my sensitivity to having experienced what I did, it's time for me to stand up for my kid the same way. It's time for me to plug in to source so that I am empowered to get the kind of results that I need to get for my child. So thank you for listening today. A little bit different of a video this week, but I guess that's the life of the single mom. Thanks so much for hearing me and holding space.